conflict and how we can get like a real like an actual for real ceasefire?
That's the guy right here. This guy here.
Well, we can talk to everybody.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
Okay, we'll talk to everybody.
I gotta give you a speech from City Hall. He had a speech at Houston City Hall that was on the news.
What?
Yeah.
What happened? I want to hear it.
News, bro.
I just said free Palestine.
No.
Come on, you said something
He's
else.
being shy, bro. He's being shy. This is the greatest speaker right here.
Yeah?
I have proof.
Oh shit.
He doesn't. We'll come back to it.
Well, all right, where y'all headed?
We're about to go. We got a friend who's lost. We're about to.
No shit. All right, hey, before y'all go, I've noticed something I've noticed some very stark contrasts.
All right.
Right? When I talk to the white people versus when I talk to the Arab people, okay, about the conflict, right? And when you talk to like the white people about Hamas, I'm like, well, are you willing to condemn Hamas and this and that? They're like, no, they'll say some crazy fucking off the wall shit. They're freedom fighters. What would you do if you're living under occupation? And then I'll talk to the Arabs, right? And I'll ask, how do you feel about Hamas? And like, dude, they're not Islam.
Yeah, they're not Islam. They are a Palestinian fighting force. They are fighting for Gaza, but they are not representative of Muslims or all of Islam. You know, why isn't the army in Lebanon considered a Muslim army or something like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the main issue here is that this didn't start on October 7th. What about October 6th, October 5th, all the way since 1948?
Well, you had 1967. You had the British shot with the Balfour Declaration. Look,
exactly.
I'm Jewish. I got family in Israel.
You're
like,
a cousin, bro.
yes, we're cousins. Yeah,
Yes,
listen.
sir.
Like, I think that we should have like. You know, if you're gonna get a ceasefire, you have to. We live together.
Exactly.
You have to have a Jewish state, but just because you have a Jewish state doesn't mean that you can't have a Palestinian state side by side. Doesn't mean that you should be run by a cartoon villains who want to go to war with Russia and try to treat their subjects like science experiments. It's like
This is a very clearly political problem that is being shrouded in religion to make people pick sides. It's purely politics, nation over nation, and they use the flag of Judaism, Islam, Christianity, so that the rest of the world can pick a side.
If you were the president, okay? If you were, who's is it Abbas is the president of Palestine, or who's the leader? What? The West Bank. Okay.
Yeah, we don't claim. But you're talking about Abbas, Mahmoud Abbas.
He's corrupt. Okay.
Yes.
Who's the leader of who's the Hamas leader? Okay. If you were in the cabinet of Hania or Abbas, how would you de-escalate? What would you do to help de-escalate this?
Well, the deal that they're working on right now is the Paris Agreement. I don't know if you've heard of it.
There was something in Egypt too, where they're trying to call on.
Egypt and Qatar are working on a hostage exchange.
Hostage exchange is good. Do you think that they should have new elections in that region to get a better, like, kind of less militant government in Gaza? Yes.
Before we can.
And I think we should do that in Israel too. I think Israel needs new elections. There's like 80% protests against Netanyahu.
Yeah, of course.
These people are fucking cartoon villains who
That
treat.
whole week about
This guy's
the
George
7th.
Bush. He's. Yeah, and you know what? They had a music festival right next to Gaza, and they've been warning about that, and they didn't respond for 9 hours. And then this guy's being investigated for corruption. I'm not a Netanyahu sympathizer, so I just want you to understand this guy is. This guy's he's dog shit. But I also want to be able to know that I have a country to go home to in case what happened in the 1930s in Germany or pogroms or all that other stuff comes back. I want to know that I have a spot, and everybody should have a spot to go. So yes. So I'm just wondering, like, what would.
The problem now is that it's come to what are we at now? 70-something years of conflict. About 80 years of conflict.
It's gonna be 1948, but then there was probably in the 19. Then there was the Peel Agreement. There was a lot of other stuff. Yeah.
Before then, my city specifically, Nablus.
Yeah.
Okay, Shechem it's called in Hebrew. We have Jews who have been living there. They're called Sumerians.
Yeah.
They've been living amongst us for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And when Israel took over, they refused to take Israeli citizenship. They refused. They're Jewish. They follow the Torah.
Living so well under the
they refused. Yeah, they were living great under this, and then they refused to take Israeli citizenship, and then the Israelis started treating them like Palestinians.
Is it the Naturi Karta? Those guys are. It's not that group, right?
No, they're called Sumara. I don't know what they called in English, but we call them Sumara. They're our brothers.
Yeah.
But they follow the Torah. They're Jewish. But they're our brothers. We marry. We marry from each other. We live together. They're our neighbors. They're our teachers in the schools. They're our doctors, everything. We're together. But they're also treated like Palestinians, even though it's supposed to be a Jewish state and an Israeli state. So clearly it's not a religious thing, it's a political thing.
Everything is...
Power. A grab for land is really...
Well, it's a grab for land, and then they're trying to use World War III, and then they're using surveillance technology, and then the AI is making mistakes, bombing hospitals, you know, thinking that these are terrorist cells with the AI. They're using AI instead of relying on real intel, and then we're giving them blank checks to continue doing that. Like, it's
a very, very highly funded, what's the word? Not genocide, I'm not trying to use the word genocide, but it's a very highly funded political problem.
It's a very highly funded political problem.
What I'm saying, back to your question about what would I do if I was the president and we should get new elections, yeah, you're right, definitely. We need new leadership on both sides. I can accept that, I can agree with that. But the problem is we're in no situation to start looking for new leadership right now. They're looking for food and water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need to solve this problem first, and then we can start trying to fix the political side of things, but there's lives that need to be
there are lives that need to be, yes, and you could also go to the UN and try to figure that out at the UN and do that quickly.
But
we also need new new leadership in America too.
Sure, yeah, we need a
All right,
ceasefire.
I got one last question, and I appreciate y'all talking. Okay, one last question. All right, well, two questions.
Yeah.
Did you guys vote in 2020?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask you who?
Trump.
You voted Trump?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I voted Donald Trump.
All right.
Yeah.
Are y'all?
Do you all?
What? No, a little bit.
Yeah, I did, because I'll tell you exactly why.
All right.
Because Trump's political policies are strictly business internationally, and not like, oh, we're gonna come in and save you guys, oh, we're gonna come in and do this. He's like, you know what? It's your fucking country. You do what the fuck you want. But you wanna do business, we'll do business.
All right.
I'm worried about America. And I, as an American, I love that.
Yeah. There were certain, listen, the no new wars, no new conflicts was a good thing.
Yeah.
You had a lot more peace. It was a lot better under Trump than it is currently right now. And you have to make the decision now in 2024, seeing how Trump has changed from now until 2024 and how he treated like Ron DeSantis leading up to 24. Would you still vote for Trump?
I'll be honest, I was pro Ron DeSantis.
I like DeSantis.
Until he did pass that law to where the immigrant law.
I actually read that. I read that law. I read it. It actually, I was concerned, but it didn't seem that, it wasn't that bad when I read the, but that's a difference of opinion. But I read it, I was like, okay, that's not like, it's just like, yo, don't be throwing up Nazi signs or supporting like open acts of
the way
like.
that they actually implemented it was they came in, I work in construction, so like everyone I work around is Mexicans usually.
Okay.
And out there, they literally started coming to the job sites and trying to pick them up and deport them. And their families are there. There's a lot of guys who were taken from their families. Their kids are still there and stuff, and they were sent back. So I stopped really supporting the guy. Now, most of his other policies, personally, I do agree with them. I'll be honest.
You never got the shot, did you?
But, huh?
Did you get the fucking clot shot?
COVID?
Yeah.
No.
Good shot. I didn't either. All right.
For sure. But
hey, listen, I'm voting for, look, I'm voting for Kennedy, okay? That's where I'm at. I'm going for Kennedy. I'm done with I think the duopoly at this stage in the game is only going to make the divide worse. It's only going to make. That should be all right.
There we go. Keep going, brother. What are you saying?
No, I'm just saying that the political duopoly, it's got to end, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Are you recording?
Yeah, we've been recording this whole time. Yeah. No, I did Trump in 2020 because I drive a pedicab downtown in Austin, and the lockdowns and all the vaccine stuff is fucking bullshit, right? You know, but then this past year or so, seeing kind of everything play out and listening to Kennedy, I think we should get a vibe. We should get an actual change, and you should have somebody that knows what they're talking about, and somebody that is willing to like have an actual discussion about figuring out what to do. You know, and I don't think either. I personally want. My view is I'm Kennedy. But Trump is. I'm not going to be mad if Trump gets reelected. I just,
Why
you know,
Kennedy?
what?
Why Kennedy?
And I think he has the best stance of COVID. I think he's. I don't think you need two geriatrics in office. I think his views on Bitcoin and censorship and sound money are really good. I think that we need to solve the environmental problems that we're dealing with without 15-minute cities and World Economic Forum models that only allow Bill Gates and Jamie Dimon and to just get richer and have total control over you. I don't want to live in a 15-minute city.
You don't think his intention is to also get rich?
I think he already comes from so much money as a Kennedy, and I think that if he wanted to get rich, he wouldn't have spoken out. He wouldn't have founded the Children's Health Defense Fund as a member of the Kennedy family and gone against his entire family. So no, I don't think so.
No, I mean, it's just
There's
Yeah,
definitely,
I don't think so. I don't. No, you can't. You
can't.
can't worship a politician or rely on them to save you. But if I had to make a choice between like who's
the better.
yeah, and I also think that like the people at Davos are using crisis after crisis to create a new world order, right? And one of the things that they're going to probably do is a cyber attack. And you need somebody who's the most mentally fit person who actually understands emerging technology is obviously Kennedy.
Versus Biden. You said Robert?
Yeah, RFK. Yeah, Kennedy.
The youngest.
Yeah, the youngest, the sharpest. He's
He was
having.
here in Austin a couple months ago.
Yeah, I know. I met him. I went to one
I
of
met
his.
him at the gym. 'Cause I used to live here. I met him at LA Fitness.
No shit. All right. He's cool as fuck. I gave him a ride once actually. He's great. I love.
Robert
Yeah.
Kennedy.
Rob RFK's.
Me and my coworker, we both went to the LA Fitness in Round Rock, and he was there.
Dude.
And like the Secret Service was like not like they're like there.
Listen, that's the
He was, like, on
guy.
a bench press.
That's the guy that's uniting the country. Because you could go to a Trump rally and be like, I like Kennedy. No one's gonna hate you. You can go to a fucking liberal communist event and say I like Kennedy. No one's gonna hate you.
I
Do you
hope
think
so,
that the
man.
presidents
I
though
really
actually
hope
really
so.
control the country? Do you think they really have
No, but I do think that the president has a kind of does. Well, they have they pick cabinet members,
Exactly.
and they help pick who the heads up of the intelligence agencies are, and they help pick who's in charge of our cybersecurity policy. They pick our UN envoys. They pick these people, and Joe Biden, obviously, I don't trust him to walk up the stairs without dropping his ice cream cone. And Trump. The people that Trump picks are fucking horrible. He campaigns with like fucking Lindsey Graham like on stage, you know what I mean? Because he's fighting the globalists. It's advanced 5D chess. So no, I don't trust either. The only person the person I would have to trust the most would probably be Kennedy.
Listen, at the end of the day, Palestinians, we've had our hands out for like 50 years, and really nobody's really stepped up to help until now. And now the genocide is going on, and still they're breaking UN laws, they're breaking war laws, they're breaking all these things.
Everything's a fucking shit show. But also the UN is a fucking the UN is also kind of a joke too.
Yeah, for sure.
They have Qatar and China are in charge of human rights at the UN. It's a fuck yeah.
created to end genocides, right? To
Yeah.
stop all the stuff that's happening. Who, after this genocide, who's ever going to respect the authority of the UN? Let's say a genocide pops up in another country. They're going to say, hey, screw you guys.
Yeah.
Y'all sat there and just
Although,
watched.
hey, to be fair,
Unless they're not-
to be fair, the world will probably be a better place once the UN and the WHO and all these other globalist organizations. Yeah, the world
Maybe
would
they
probably
don't need to go
the world
away,
would be.
but maybe like you
They'd
said,
have less power. Yeah,
Maybe we just
yeah.
need leadership who's actually not scared to go ahead and do leadership that cares more about people than money. That's what we need.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Are you from America? Like, are you born and raised in
Yeah,
America?
yeah, yeah.
What's your ethnicity background?
Russian Jew. Yeah.
Do you? Okay, so have you been to Russia?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I've been to Israel a couple times, but that yeah.
Cool. If our country were to be taken over in terms of America, say people were to come over here and take over our country, would you fight back?
Yeah.
Like you'd bear arms and you'd fight back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you? Because I missed obviously the first half of the
first
conversation.
half. No, he agrees that it's wrong on both sides.
In what sense?
That we need new leadership for Israel and new leadership for Palestine.
Why for Palestine? And why for Israel?
Well, Israel. Let's start with Israel. Okay. Israel, they're being governed by cartoon villains. Okay. These are cartoon villains who are trying to use this crisis.
Jewish and has family in Israel.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
understand, like, no, they do too.
Okay. Yeah. So these people they're governed by cartoon villains, right?
Do you mind if I switch?
No, go have fun. Yeah. They're governed by cartoon villains, and they also treated their own fucking people like science experiments with this whole COVID bullshit. And like, I mean, I know we were talking. I didn't get the fucking death jab, you know. Okay, like, I'm not letting Jeffrey Epstein's friends give me public health advice. Okay, you know, like I'm not about that, right? So there's that, and then these people they are like, yeah, go to war with Russia. We got to go to war with Iran. Like this stuff is out of control. Okay. And then they're catering to, and then you're trying to consolidate the judiciary. You're being investigated for a bunch of crimes. This guy openly talks about how he helped fund Hamas, and you know, I could go on about it. I really don't like Netanyahu at all. Okay, nobody in Israel likes Netanyahu.
For the most part.
Nobody. Okay. So there's that, and then Hamas. It's a radical organization that like names schools after suicide bombers and teaches like jihadist principles to 5-year-old kids, and they hide weapons and stuff in hospitals and elementary schools. And
Although that was debunked.
you think that
We're talking about Shifa Hospital specifically.
okay, maybe, but
I haven't heard anything else about that.
But they do have I believe, I could be wrong, that they have a reoccurring pattern of doing stuff like that. The problem, though, is that the Israeli government is using AI and all that stuff to figure out, and the AI is making the wrong calculations about where the munitions are. So they're just killing people indiscriminately, even though, like, it's kind of like a half-truth on both sides, if that makes sense.
You said that, and I like don't mean this offensively, obviously, because I don't think you did either. But
Nah.
You said that they are hiding guns and weapons in the hospitals and schools. Right?
Yeah.
But it's been debunked.
Has it been?
IDF and the Times of Israel said that there were no weapons in El Shifa Hospital.
Oh.
And after they bombed Shifa Hospital and the IDF went inside to just terrorize the rest of it and take stuff that they wanted, I don't know if you saw the video of them recording an Arabic calendar, and it literally says like Monday through Monday, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they said it was the locations of where like the next targets were for Israel. It's like Israeli IDF soldiers, they're recording it, and the guy's like, oh look, and he's reading it, and he's pretending like he could read Arabic, and he's saying just propaganda, just spreading propaganda, right? And then the IDF themselves were like, oh no, it just says, you know, Tanin, Talata, like the days of the week, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Do I agree with everything Hamas does? Absolutely not. But you called them a radical group, right? Is our army radical in America?
What do you mean?
The United States has killed more people in the entire world than any other country has in the last 50 years.
Oh yeah, like I don't think we should have gone into Iraq or Afghanistan
Are they radical for doing that?
I guess you could say that's radical, but here's one.
I guess.
Yes, fine. That is a little bit that is radical.
Very
Okay,
radical.
when it comes to supporting Israel, like I think both Israel should exist as a sovereign state, right? Doesn't mean you should build more settlements. Doesn't mean you should be carpet bombing kids. Doesn't mean you should be doing all this stuff, right? That being said, I don't think that our tax dollars should be funding that.
I agree,
Absolutely.
but that's
Alright.
I agree, but that's not what I'm.
Yeah, I don't think our tax dollars should be funding foreign conflicts. That's what I
he's
like in
getting
general.
at
Yeah.
is that the lens that we've been given to look through is automatically that, oh, these guys are a radical organization. Well, why can't the IDF be a radical organization? Why isn't the U.S. Army a radical? Why isn't any army a
Look,
radical organization?
I agree with that. No, I agree.
What was your name?
Alex.
Ali.
Nice to meet you.
Very close
Yeah,
names.
I know.
If I walked up to him and I killed him right now, you'd deem me a radical person for killing him.
Yeah.
If I walked up to you and I was like, yo, excuse my language, I killed him because because he's wearing this and he represents a country that
He'd be
doesn't
a
exist.
terrorist,
I'd
right?
be a radical person, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah.
if one of these officers that are wearing like uniform come and they kill me, it'd be like, oh, they're
There's no
you
problem.
know, it's
He
just
was doing his job.
Well, it depends on. Well, if they just killed you out of no.
On the back.
Well,
it depends on the background.
It depends on the
context.
It depends on the context.
Okay.
Like with George Floyd, it like didn't go well for the cop. He got stabbed 20 times in prison. Like,
Right. So, all I'm saying is, you've been to Israel.
yeah.
I haven't. I'm not allowed to go. Right. My grandparents were forced out in 1948.
So you're not allowed to go. If you went and got on a plane to visit, they
I
wouldn't
went
let
in
you.
Tel
Not
Aviv,
allowed
I'd get
to
turned
live
back
there.
around.
What?
I have to go through Jordan. I'm not allowed to go into the airport.
You're not allowed. What?
The first time I went into Israel, I went in as an American because I
Yeah.
had no other papers.
Yeah.
Because I went in as an American the first time, because right after my first trip, I was gonna get my Palestinian passport. My dad kept it. He made sure it didn't expire because he wants his kids to have it. Because by Israeli law, you're not allowed to live unless you have paperwork.
Yeah.
So I had to go in on the American the first time so I could see my family in the Israeli side, because I will never be able to see them again once I get my Palestinian passport. Now that I have my Palestinian passport, I can only FaceTime them. When I go to Palestine, there's a bridge for us. We are only allowed to enter on the West Bank side, and you know the wall that separates the West Bank from Israel? I'm not allowed to cross it. Even though I'm an American citizen, I'm not allowed to go in on the American passport. I must go in on the Palestinian, and I'm not allowed to visit my family on the other side of the wall. I have to apply for I can't go to Jerusalem and visit my holy mosque anymore. I've been one time only.
And you probably
I
snuck
can't
in.
go again.
Which is crazy because I've been in Jerusalem and I've seen mosques on the wall, and I'm like, well, how do you call it an apartheid state when there's a mosque right in front of you on the wall? Like
not
that's
allowed to
Right?
go.
that's that I never understood.
not
Okay.
allowed
The context of it being an apartheid state is it being a controlled entrance and exit. Right? So
Exactly.
that's what
We're
makes it an
treated
apartheid
as a
state.
second-class
Is if that
citizen.
gate right there, there's a gate right there. For
Yeah.
every person, I let them walk in and out, and I said,
You
Alex,
have
you're
to-
Jewish, go ahead.
Yeah.
But you're Palestinian. I actually need you to go all the way
you
over
to
there,
come
and I
in
need
through
you to
the
be
back
searched
door.
and everything through there because you're Palestinian.
4 or 5 hours.
Then
It's not
that
very-
makes people
let's not
feel
even say-
like second-class citizens in their own land.
Not feel, they are second.
Okay. Yeah.
They are second class
In your
citizens,
own land,
right?
you know?
But back to the main topic that we were going at, right? Is take away Hamas, right? They've killed thousands of Palestinians that live in the West Bank. Is there Hamas in the West Bank?
Never.
No, you have Abbas and something else.
Yeah, and
yeah,
Abbas works
yeah.
very closely to Netanyahu.
Not even that.
He's our Netanyahu.
Really?
While we have
Okay,
another
okay.
Netanyahu.
Abbas's government is a proxy of the Israeli government.
He does everything for
Yeah,
them.
it's a proxy.
Look, and I obviously,
And they're
I
still-
don't want to say anything to where I obviously encourage you to research, right?
No, I mean, I've been doing a lot of
research.
research to try to figure out what's. Yeah,
Cool.
I'm trying to do. Yeah,
What-
I'm doing that. Yeah.
Whenever I talk to anybody, I try to tell them, like for example, and they can attest to it. I've spoken with many Jewish people. I've debated with rabbis that live in Houston. I like to really hear the other side, right? I genuinely do.
No, and
wanna
I
hear what they
appreciate
say,
that
and
because
I
a lot
wanna
of
learn
the
about what
yes,
they
because a lot
are
of
looking at.
listen, man, we want to get like, and I gotta actually talk to more people after this because we've been talking forever, which has been good. But like, in order to get peace, you actually do have to have you actually have to have an understanding and talk and figure this out. Because like me talking to you, right? If I'm in charge of the Israeli government and you said, hey, I want to see my family, oh yeah, go ahead. What's the problem? Like, why are we stopping you from seeing your family?
Because
you're not crazy.
we're deemed
You
as
don't.
Hamas.
You don't support that guard. Like, yeah.
You know, the other day, have you ever heard of Omegle?
No.
So it's like this streaming like app. It's like you go on there and it like connects you to random people across the world, right?
Yeah,
So there's an option to speak to people in Israel. Every person that we spoke to that was in Israel, we'd be like, like, hi. And they're like, do you support Hamas? And we're like, no, we don't. And they're like, do you guys want to kill Israelis? And we're like,
No.
we live in America,
Yeah.
right? Even if for some odd reason
Just 'cause we
I
look
wanted
Arab.
to, no, say, I can show you videos. I would tell every single person, I'd be like, Maslam Khai. They'd be like, no, you're Arabi, you're Palestinian.
Yeah, they wouldn't even say
right?
it back, man.
Wow.
Right?
all
And
right.
that's not even the problem. The problem is, if I were to say, be somebody who came here, like say I told everybody here, like, yo, what are we doing? There's no point of doing this. We're not gonna gain anything. We've been doing this for 120 days. What are we still doing here, right? They'll probably post me on the Times of Israel and be like, this is one of the smartest Palestinians to ever live, right? This is one of the smartest guys to ever live. And those are the people they post, right? Like, apparently the son of the Hamas creator, apparently he's like a huge advocate against Hamas. And,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
right? Do you really think that? Do you really think
They
that the
just
son of
grabbed
Hamas,
some random
you
guy
know, he
off
doesn't
the
even look Arab, nor does he even look Israeli.
Even the
right?
people in Gaza are like, we've never seen this man.
We don't know
before.
who he
He's
is.
not
What?
from
He doesn't
Gaza.
even, he doesn't even
And
share the
he's
same
one
last name,
the IDF puts on the news, man.
right?
No one
Yeah, that's
knows
kind of
him.
crazy.
Right? And like another thing, just before we let you go, to what I was mentioning is when I like to hear about what people research, I like to hear the sources and where their sources are coming from, because whenever I speak to anybody, instead of speaking and like reading something, I show them videos of people who are directly in Gaza, of what's currently going on within Gaza.
We have a lot
right?
of friends over there.
Okay. Are these from your actually your friends videoing? Because there's a
Yeah,
lot of
I have
also
a friend
there's
who's
also a
up
lot
for
of stuff.
37
There's
days.
also a lot of stuff that you see from that winds up being. There's a lot of fake stuff that you see like.
She was on CNN.
She was on CNN. One of our very close friends, she was trapped there. She was there before October 7th, and then October 7th.
Oh, no
she's an American
shit.
And guess
Alright.
what?
Born and
Every
raised
time
in
they'd
Texas.
call the embassy, whenever they obviously had the chance, and the embassy eventually told them, just like everybody else, you guys need to fucking wait your turns because we're not going to open the borders for just because you guys are like American, right?
Yeah.
This is all documented. They actually, I think, are trying to like do like a lawsuit or something. I don't know. Regardless, that's irrelevant. Back to what I was saying. If I told you as a Russian Jew, like, hey, I want you to learn a little bit about Palestine, and the author was like Palestine Jew hater, right? It's not a very reliable source.
No, it's not.
Very biased
Yes, a
source,
very yes,
right?
yes.
Very biased source. But when I can show you people that have gone to Palestine or Israel, just like yourself, right?
Yeah.
Someone who has a non-biased thing, who lives in America and has gone and traveled all throughout the country, has been to Gaza, and they come back and they write books about the experience that they saw firsthand as people who are not ethnic to the land. That's probably a better person who has no idea what's
Yes,
going on.
like I just listened to the Dave Smith and Robert Kennedy debate.
Yeah. Do you know Bobby Lee? Have you ever heard of him? He's a comedian.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
So they, one day he was saying like his manager hit him up and was like, hey, Israel wants to sponsor a trip for you to go to Israel free of charge.
Yeah.
Whatever. So he goes, he was like, yo, it was fucking awesome. Like when I first got there, it was like beautiful, good food, whatever. And then they tell him like, okay, now post a story and say that like you love Israel. And eventually he was like, no. Why do you guys want me to post so much? So eventually he comes back to America and he was like, it was so odd how every time I met a Palestinian person and I'd walk away, these Israeli people would be like, yo, that guy's he's a terrorist. He kills Israelis. He wants to kill all Jewish people, right? We're Muslim, right? If I were to kill a Jewish person, or if I were to touch you in an aggressive way and you're Jewish and I'm Muslim, these guys would probably leave me and go back to Houston without me, right? Because that's against our religion. This isn't anything that we've been taught. If he were to do something of such sort, we wouldn't do that. There was a Palestinian guy that was just arguing with some Jewish guy over there that has like a half American, half Jewish or Israeli flag.
Yeah.
And he was yelling at him, and I grabbed him. I'm like, hey, like, what are you gaining right now? They're recording you. They're just gonna try to record you, send it back to Israel, and then they're gonna post it and be like, oh, look at this crazy Palestinian terrorist who is yelling at someone in America.
Yeah.
You know, so everything.
I think that a lot of the crazies are not helping with the situation too. Like, and I've been to a couple of Houston City Council meetings because I pedicabbed out there in Houston. But I go like, you know, who Alex Stein is.
Alex Stein.
Yeah. He like kind of just trolls the council and just like makes them up.
Oh yes.
I do.
Like a really big.
Yeah. I do kind of.
He got kicked out like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, Rosen, the football player, yeah.
Yes.
No, me and him are, so me and him are buddies.
So you know what's funny is me and him talked for maybe 30 minutes before we entered in.
Oh, I know, yeah, okay, because he was.
And we were fully like on the same page.
Yeah, he's cool.
Inside,
and just went and said we should call a ceasefire.
No. He sat in the back. He had his camera out. Verbatim, and I'm pretty sure this is online.
Yeah.
He goes, who gives a fuck about those people 5,000 miles away? What are we doing to control guns and killing people here?
Yeah.
And then he goes, ceasefire in Houston, ceasefire.
Yeah, he's right. I mean,
and he walked out.
Yeah,
right?
there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Why do you have to say fuck those people? What do they do to you? If you want to come here respectfully.
Yeah, he's like a 22-year-old. He's also a 22-year-old kid.
No,
so
sure,
yeah.
You know,
Like,
but, I mean, I'm 25.
he looks like he's like
right?
50 though. He looks like he's fucking 50.
Like,
Dude, but you know he catches like pedophiles for. You know
I know.
Yeah,
awesome.
he's
like,
the fucking man.
What he told me he did was super awesome,
he's the man.
right?
Yeah, he's the man.
And even afterwards, when I was walking back to my car because I left before it ended, he actually was parked behind me.
Yeah.
Right. And I came up to him and I was like, "Yo," and he looked at me and he was like, "Listen, I have nothing against people." I was like, "Okay, if you came here and were like, yo, we need to stop killing the people that are innocent dying in Houston," I would walk in there with you and I'd say the exact same thing. But as a Palestinian, I'm not going to come here and be like, yo, fuck Houston, we need to save the people 5,000.
That's true.
And vice versa, right?
It's
There's no point. There's people dying there.
He also,
I
think, likes the attention that he gets on the internet, and there is all of that. Yeah.
Again, so do people in Hamas.
Yeah,
so do
I know.
people in the IDF.
I know.
Right? And it doesn't make them any. Your cameraman left.
No, he doesn't. He's right behind us.
Oh, is he?
He's just good. He's good. He's fucking slick. He's a ninja, dude. He's slick. He's slick.
Yeah, I mean, again, Alex, I definitely would say I appreciate you.
Yeah.
For being here and just trying to pick people's brains. I would just say, as a Russian, do you support Russia, like your country? Do you know ever want to go?
With Ukraine, I mean,
not like the country or the government. I'm just saying, like, you don't want to go to Russia.
No, I want to. I just haven't been able to yet. You know.
Okay, I would definitely say, you know, in terms of like what it looks like. In the
I don't
world,
buy the whole
it's
Ukraine.
very bad.
I don't buy the whole Ukraine stuff either, though. Like, I don't think we should be I don't think we should be sending all our fucking money to Ukraine and funding this proxy war either. Like, yeah,
right?
that's
because you think if America goes into a war right now with Mexico, you think Ukraine's going to be sending us money?
No.
You think any country is going to be sending us money? Maybe besides France, maybe the British. What's Israel going to do? They're going to reject the payment we sent them and give it back?
Yeah, they're not going to do that. No, it's good.
So
No, what's going to happen is they're going to print up more money, and then if you own if you own Bitcoin, then you'll be great. But if you don't, then you're fucked, and you're going to eat bugs and live in a pot and have a social credit score, and that's kind of what the end game is, unfortunately, about. Which is why you got to have the discussion so that we avoid that future. Okay, I got to go, dude. Great meeting you.
You have social media?
Yeah.
Can I follow you somewhere?
Yeah. I wish I had my cards with me.
Okay. Do you have cards?
I mean, probably not the whole conversation, but like, you know, yeah, of course the videos.
Hey, don't clip me where I'm just like, are you sure you don't support Hamas?
No, I am not going to. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. Here.
Yeah, the march started.
He's gonna clip me saying, you know, he's
Here.
Jewish, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Boom. Follow. All right. Cool. Okay. All right. Oh shit. Meeting. All right. Meeting. Okay.
Appreciate you talking.
All right.
She's right here.